So let us move on to our next topic. We talked about church and community because we would like to serve God's church better and then more. This time, you are lay leader, but before that you are lay person. You are a Christian, you are a church member, we call it lay person. How would you describe your church? So this time I would like to invite Jon first to talk about how would you describe Whiting Church. At this moment, would you describe Whiting Church? Jon.
Like I said, when my wife and I first started attending,
Yes.
we were looking for a church. We just felt very welcome, it was a very hospitable congregation. Of course, my wife knew everyone. I was new to the community, but
Right.
she kind of knew everyone. And we just felt like it was a good fit for us and our family. Felt very supported, very loved, and genuine concern for one another is shared.
Yes.
And as I said earlier, they've been incredibly faithful. As times have changed, as the rural economy has changed, that's brought some significant changes to these small towns. And I had seen that growing up. My dad's family was from a small town, and my grandparents were from a small town in Missouri, so we would go see Grandma and Grandpa about once a month. And growing up, you could see that town change over time. And of course, Dad would talk about how things had changed. But I'm just always struck by how faithful the members of the church are. Whiting had an elevator. They still have a restaurant. There's a machine shop, a small grocery store. But there used to be lots of other businesses there. My wife remembers the grocery store in town going, and he'd give them candy. She always enjoyed going to the grocery store and getting the treats. There was a bank in town. There was a gas station on the corner run by Dale Williams, and I remember when we first moved to town, I had some trouble with a vehicle, and I called him up, and he came down and took a look at it and fixed it. But he said, I don't need anything for it. He didn't charge me for it, just out of the kindness of his heart. He said, it didn't take me any time at all. And so it was just that kind of generosity and welcoming nature. And I'm always shocked. And with most small towns, as people move away, as the town population, it can't support all those economic things, but
Yes.
the church is still there.
Yes.
Whiting has two churches, a Baptist church and a Methodist church. As lots of businesses have closed, the churches are still there.
Yes.
Netawaka, the churches are still there. People come and go, but the churches are still there. There's still that community of believers, and so just kind of when you get your dauber down a little bit, we're still plugging away.
Yes. Yes.
We're still going. We're still trying to do what we've been called to do, and we still support each other, and we love each other and are concerned about each other. And when we're not together, it just doesn't seem right.
Right. Right. Oh, what happened?
When we had to do church online, it was nice to be able to do a worship service online, but it's just not the same to be there in the presence of the people.
Yes, right.
You didn't get the same feeling that you did sitting in church.
No. I could have a terrible week. I go to church on Sunday, and it just I find peace and comfort, and that kind of gets the rest of my week started on a good note. So.
Yeah, thank you, Jon. So I like your description. Whiting Church, we exist in Whiting community. I think that's an important part. And then we care for one another, and then we share joys and concerns. Because church is not just building, but because it's people. When you care for other church members or neighbors, that you care for church, I believe. Yeah, so that's why I think, okay, we can celebrate, yes, we still exist. The community is not at least growing as well, but I'm really glad, and that's something to celebrate. We are still there as a church. Then what is the next? Based on our existence, how can we be Jesus' disciples as a church? So I think this conversation can be a good start point to think about the next phase. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jon.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This time, Marilyn, how would you describe Netawaka Church today? Yes, we talked about the past, everything, but for now, it's different. My image of Netawaka Church and your image of Netawaka Church, yes, we have a common place, but we have a different history. So, how today would you describe Netawaka Church?
Well, my first thoughts today when I was thinking about this, I thought it's a church that's well cared for. We care for the people that are inside. We've cared for the building inside and outside. And so together I think those are pretty strong, even though there's only a few of us here on Sunday morning. There's others that are still watching the videos or reading the bulletin and the sermon that are mailed to them. So I feel like that our members are caring about each other. They're caring about members of the community, because many times in prayer concerns we lift up someone that's not necessarily a member of our church but the community, as well as members from the Horton Church. When Charlene sends me an email that is asking for prayers for someone, I try to share that here with the members here. So we very much do care about our church. I think some of them have said, when I'm gone, the church will just close. And that very well could be, but with all the churches that are getting smaller in numbers, at some point I see maybe churches having to combine together to become a little bigger church, but that helps the other church as well, and maybe it's God saying He wants you to move in that direction and share things that have happened in our church past that might be an inspiration to another church. So I guess I just feel like that we care, and if people see that we care, then maybe they'll consider trying church and seeing maybe if it's not something that they want in their life.
Right. Yes, whenever I come to Whiting Church, of course, and Horton too, but Netawaka Church on Sunday morning on the way, I can see all the farming area, and I'm reminded of my grandparents' town and then their church too, because I cannot visit my grandparents as often as before, but I know some neighborhood care for each other, and I see the similar thing over here happening. So you care for each other. So I think that could be a important role of church in the community. Yeah.